right now. It is time to get positive this morning with Amy. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Joey?
I am good. And Amy, I want to thank you for joining us on a Thursday today. I know it's a little weird. This is supposed to be every Wednesday here on the Eggs, Bacon, and Joey Morning Show. But we, like I said, we had some things we had to get done yesterday. So we're back, and I'm glad to have you on a Thursday. Hopefully I didn't screw up your schedule.
Not at all. Every day is a great day to be positive.
That is absolutely right. And you know what? I made an announcement on Monday, Amy. And I don't know if it was because I was having a bad day on Monday morning, like everything was going wrong for me. And I just looked at myself and I got myself together and I said, I cannot allow for this day to take over me. Because if I do that, people are going to see me on TV and they're going to be like, man, what's wrong with Joey? Why is his show so off today? So I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, get it together. These are little small things that you're upset about. Get over it and get the job done. And I came on the show and I said, you know what? I changed up my morning this morning for my listeners and for my viewers. And I went on a rant and I called myself the leader of positivity.
Woo! I love it. Well, you know what, Joey? For as long as I've known you, you've always been positive.
Oh,
and,
thank you.
It's nice to know that, you did that. You gave yourself a chance to deal with it, but then you decided, I'm changing it. And that's important. It's hard to do sometimes.
Everything went wrong. I mean, literally. From the moment that I woke up, I put on my shirt, I had a stain. I went to go get some coffee, I didn't have coffee anymore. I went in my car and I'm driving, I got every red light on my way here. I got into the studio and the backdrop was failing when I was putting it up. It just, everything went wrong, and it was me, mentally. I mentally had to check myself, and we talked about this a little bit last week, in which we have to take responsibility for our own actions and for the way that we are feeling. So, for example, I could have continued the show that morning and just been in a really, really bad mood. I checked myself, and I took responsibility for how I was feeling. Have you ever felt that way?
Oh, Lady of Positivity, I feel that way almost daily. I have to check myself, but...
Well, I feel like a lot of people don't take responsibility, though, Amy.
Oh, no, it's very true, or they put it on others, which, and they also come out in different ways, which leads us into the story, that a lot of people feel bad about themselves, so then they bully others.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that really, really makes me angry. The bullying others because you're unhappy. And this could be any instance, and this is a story that you're going to bring up. We're going to segue into that here in just a second. But before I get there, the bullying that occurs because the individual that is the bully is unhappy with their lives, unhappy with themselves, and it could happen in a personal relationship. It can happen at school. It could happen at the workplace. I mean, these things are happening every single day, and we have to remember, the bulliness is coming from the bully who is just unhappy and is not checking themselves and is not taking responsibility for their actions and is not looking in the mirror and going, I have this problem, it's not the other person that's in front of me.
Absolutely. And I know that I've been a victim of bullying. Probably we all have, but I've managed somehow to just feel sorry for them. I do. I feel sorry for the bully because they must be going through a lot of internal to take it out on other people. Now, if it's my child, I'm not going to feel so sorry for him. I'm just joking.
Now, Amy, you have a great story that you showed me. You sent me via email, and I read this story, and I was just, oh, man, just such a great story. I'm going to let you go ahead and take care of this.
Yeah, this story kind of gives you the power of social media, what a great impact it can have. So there's this dad that posted a Facebook post that says, it actually went viral too, but he has a son with special needs and rocks were thrown at him. And Dan Bazent from Idaho Falls, Idaho, is a proud father of 6 children. His 7-year-old son, Jackson, has Treacher-Collins syndrome, a rare condition that affects the development of bones and facial tissues. Because of his parents, Dan has witnessed Jackson become the victim of bullying, and he's had enough. After learning about a recent incident at school, Dan took to Facebook to educate parents about bullying while urging them to teach their children understanding and to learn more about children with special needs. Dan's full post on Facebook reads, this is heartbreaking. My heart is in pieces right now. My soul feels like it's ripping from my chest, and this beautiful young man, my son, has to endure a constant barrage of derogatory comments and ignorance like I've never witnessed. He is called ugly and freak and monster on a daily basis by his peers at school. He talks about suicide, and he's not quite 8. That kills me. He says he has no friends, and everyone hates him. Kids throw rocks at him and push him, shouting these horrific words, and please, please take a minute and imagine if this were your child. Take a minute to educate your children about special needs. Talk to them about compassion and love for our fellow man. His condition is called Treacher Collins. Maybe even look it up. He's endured horrific surgery and has several more in the coming years. But please educate your children. Now that Dan's post has gone viral, he says other kids at Jackson's school are reaching out to him and his family, wanting to befriend and protect him. Dan also learned that there were 2 children in his own community that had Treacher Collins syndrome, and the families are going to meet soon to form a special playgroup for the kids. I am receiving constant messages of people sending love and prayers for Jackson, Dan said. All I am asking is that you teach your children about bullying and making sure that kids understand that people are built differently and God loves us all.
Wow.
What a beautiful story.
What a great story. And you know what? What's so sad about this, and one of the things that I mentioned before you said this story, was that this is happening for young kids as well. And parents are having to witness the bullying take place. But my question to you, Amy, is where is this starting? Why are kids at such a young age already filled with hate? And my only thing is that it has to start at home.
Absolutely. You know, I have a theory about millennials, and, it's not their fault because, we have 2 working parents, and kids aren't taught coping skills at home. Some are being bullied right away, and they don't know how to cope with it, so then they become angry. And it's a cycle. And I think it all starts at home like everything else does. Building our kids up to the point where they're confident but not cocky. I mean, it's such a challenge for us parents, too.
Well, and you're right, though, because it has to start at home. And my daughter, she's 10 years old. I constantly tell her that, you got to love everyone. You got to be fair to everybody. You can't be mean. If somebody says something mean to you, don't say something mean back. Let them, be the way that they are. Now, if they're threatening you, obviously go tell a teacher or report them. But, other than that, be nice to people. And you're going to notice that, unfortunately, bullies and people that are negative don't know really how to react to that, and I almost want to bring this up almost into adult life too, because, unfortunately this stuff happens in the workplace too. I mean, let's not lie about it. Let's not be putting a blind eye to it. This happens in the workplace. And for me, I think that a lot of people that react to it will then eventually, have some issues that occur because you're reacting to someone's negativity, someone that someone else is going through, and you're now kind of putting yourself in their shoes and playing on their level, which is what they wanted.
Dumbing down, absolutely. I think, and this is what I live by: positive actions give positive results. They don't know what to do when you're positive and sweet and kind with their, abrasive comments or hurtful comments. If you're nice back, they really don't know what to do, and it kind of brings them down to a different level, to your level.
And you know what? I'm not saying, like if somebody's like mean to you, just hit them with some positivity or hit them with like a nice gesture or whatever. I mean, you could also ignore it, right? I mean, you don't have to react to it. You can ignore it.
Oh, you can absolutely ignore it. I mean, there's different steps to take. Ignoring it, coming back, with a compliment about something off the subject, or just avoiding them. there's so many things you can do. I guess I repeated myself there. Sorry.
I guess what I'm afraid of is the cyberbullying too, like the fact that people can be on a desktop computer or their keyboard on their phone, and they can type something really bad about someone, but it's like one of those things, like they feel like bulletproof. Like, yeah, I can go in and say something bad about this person because they're never going to see me or whatever might be the case, and it's just one of those like epidemics right now that's really bad as well online.
Well, you know what I do, and I've definitely had my share of mean comments. I just delete them. I don't respond. I just delete them. I don't want people that are negative in my circle. If it can't be positive and lifts people up, I don't need to listen to it or read it.
Well, I've heard of Hollywood actors and actresses who get a lot of this stuff too, or people that are on television. They get a lot of this stuff. They say they don't even look at it. They don't even look at it because once they look at it, it's just going to start messing with their minds.
It really does. I mean, I even told you that watching the news, I limit myself just because it can really bring you down. And yes, I want to be familiar with what's going on in the world, but at the same time, everybody's just trying to survive every day and live a happy life. And that stuff can really bring you down, especially, what's going on now.
No, you're
I can't want this to be wrong.
No, you're right. You're right. So, Amy, you and I like to set some goals for the week, something that we like to do that's in a positive mental attitude state that can help us walk into that direction and maybe help the listeners that are tuning in go, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna kind of follow what they're doing too to hopefully become more positive. One of the things that I want to do this week is I would like to eat a little healthier this week because I noticed that sometimes, as much as fast food is amazing, as much as all that great greasiness and sugary and sweet desserts and all that stuff is amazing, sometimes, and I guess I will say most of the time that I eat like that, it just brings me down. Low energy, I start to feel tired and slumpy, and I want to start eating better, and I think I want to start taking my first few steps here this week because I did it a couple weeks ago and I felt good about myself, and I want to start doing it again because, like I said, as much as I love fast food, it just sometimes just makes me feel so sluggish.
Oh, Joey, I'm glad to hear that. It's funny because just yesterday I decided to eliminate sugar from my diet, and I work for Diet Free Life too, so we do podcasts talking about nutrition, and I know that sugar can cause you this great spike and a great fall and make us tired and fatigued, but I still like it. I still eat it.
In moderation, right?
In moderation. Exactly. Everything in life in moderation. Well, this week, my goal, kind of taking off from our story, I always have learned, or I've always given people compliments. Like if I get a waiter that's kind of rude or short with me, I find something nice and genuine to say, a compliment. And for whatever reason, I always get really good service now. So this week, I'm going to try to compliment as many people as possible, genuine compliments. And I think that's going to be my goal this week.
I love it. I love it. Amy, positive mental attitude. It happens every Wednesday, 8:30 here on the Eggs, Bacon, and Joey Morning Show. This is a special edition, a Thursday edition of Positive Mental Attitude with Amy, and you can see past videos at jliveent.com. Click on the Eggs, Bacon, and Joey TV and radio show link at the top of the menu. You can see past videos, some of our past interviews from Positive Mental Attitude. So go there and check them out. We'll also post today's show link is there as well later this week. So anyways, Amy, thank you so very much for joining us this morning, and you have a great week, okay?
You too. PMA, baby.